I stood in the doorway of my daughter Emma's room, watching helplessly as my mother-in-law, Margaret, supervised two housekeepers stripping the bed of my daughter's favorite galaxy print sheets. "Really, Sarah?" Margaret sniffed, directing the staff to replace them with her own Egyptian cotton linens. "These childish decorations are hardly appropriate for Cassandra. She's used to a certain standard." My daughter clutched her beloved telescope to her chest, tears threatening to spill as her astronomy posters were systematically removed from the walls. The space she'd carefully curated over the years, each star chart and NASA photo representing hours of passion and study, was being dismantled to accommodate her more refined cousin. "Mom," Emma whispered, "where will I sleep?" Before I could answer, Margaret cut in. "The basement has a perfectly serviceable cot. Really, given your circumstances, you should be grateful we're allowing you to stay in the house at all." By circumstances, she meant the fact that Emma had earned a scholarship to Preston Academy, rather than having her way bought in like Cassandra. In Margaret's world, merit meant nothing compared to money. "That's enough, Margaret," I started, but she waved me off. "Sarah, dear, need I remind you that this house belongs to my son? And while he's away on business, I'm responsible for maintaining certain standards. Cassandra's family is contributing significantly to Preston's new performing arts center. We can't have her sleeping in." She gestured dismissively at Emma's science awards. The irony of her statement made my stomach clench. James, my husband, had been away for 3 months, finalizing our company's acquisition of several luxury properties, including, though Margaret didn't know it yet, this very house. "The basement isn't properly heated," I protested. Then she should have thought of that before choosing to focus on her little star projects instead of proper social connections like Cassandra. Margaret's smile was pure venom wrapped in social grace. "Though I suppose we can't expect better from your influence." The doorbell rang, announcing Cassandra's arrival. Margaret's face lit up with the same adoration she never showed her own granddaughter. "Remember," she hissed as footsteps approached, "not a word about Emma's usual sleeping arrangements. We don't want to embarrass the family by advertising that we let scholarship children use the main bedrooms." My 14-year-old niece swept in, her designer clothes and professionally styled hair making her look like a mini Margaret. Behind her, my sister-in-law Diana carried what looked like an entire department store's worth of shopping bags. "Aunt Margaret," Cassandra air-kissed her grandmother's cheeks. "This room is quaint. You've had it cleaned, right? After, you know." Emma flinched. I saw her grip tighten on her telescope, her knuckles white. "Of course, darling, and I had the sheets replaced with the ones you prefer. We want you comfortable for your big audition week." Diana beamed. The Preston Academy theater director practically guaranteed her the lead, especially after George's donation. "Mom," Emma whispered, "my science fair project materials can go to the basement with the rest of your things," Margaret cut in. "Cassandra needs space for her costumes. Diana, you should see the little area we've arranged for Emma, so appropriate for her station." I watched my daughter's shoulders slump as she gathered her beloved science materials, the same projects that had won her national recognition and earned her the scholarship Margaret so despised. "Actually," I said quietly, "Emma's staying in her room." The silence was immediate. Margaret turned slowly, her perfect eyebrows arched in disapproval. "Sarah, we've discussed this. Cassandra needs nothing that requires my daughter to sleep in an unheated basement," I finished, "in her own home." Diana laughed nervously. "Sarah, be reasonable. This is James's house, and Mother is just trying to what?" I interrupted, "to teach my daughter that her achievements mean nothing compared to your daughter's trust fund." "How dare you?" Margaret stepped forward. "After we took you in, gave you a roof over your head." "Gave?" I felt 13 years of suppressed anger rising. "Would you like to discuss exactly who's giving what to whom, Margaret?" "Mom," Emma touched my arm, "it's okay. I can use the basement. I don't want to cause trouble." The sight of my brilliant, kind daughter trying to make herself smaller, trying to accommodate the cruelty of her own family, made something snap inside me. "No, sweetheart," I said firmly. "You won't be sleeping in the basement. In fact," I turned to Margaret, "I think it's time we had a family meeting about sleeping arrangements and ownership, and exactly who's been giving what to whom." Margaret's perfectly lined lips curled into a sneer. "James left me in charge while he's away. Unless you'd like to find alternative accommodation for you and your scholarship child. My phone buzzed. A text from James. The contracts were signed. The transfer was complete. I smiled, reaching for Emma's telescope before Margaret could have it removed to the basement. Actually, Margaret, let's talk about who's really in charge here, and why Emma's astronomy projects are about to become a permanent fixture in this house's main study. What do you mean? Margaret's voice held a note of uncertainty I'd never heard before. James left explicit instructions. About the house? I interrupted, my phone displaying the confirmation email from our lawyers. Yes, he did. To me, the new owner. Diana's perfectly manicured hand flew to her throat. That's impossible. This house has been in the Hamilton family for generations. And it still is, I smiled. Just not the branch you expected. The sound of more cars pulling up outside drew everyone to the window. A moving truck and several vehicles with the Starlight Industries logo were parking in the circular driveway. What is this? Margaret demanded, her composure cracking as uniformed workers began unloading equipment. I didn't authorize. You don't have to. I cut in smoothly. I did. You see, while you've been busy ensuring everyone knows about George's donation to Preston Academy's theater, my little technology company has been quietly acquiring properties, including this one. Emma's eyes widened as understanding dawned. Mom, does this mean? Yes, sweetheart. The observatory we discussed. The one for your research project. The contractors are here to start construction. Cassandra laughed nervously. But where will I practice my scenes? The basement has excellent acoustics, I suggested, though it might be a bit cold. Margaret's face had gone from porcelain pale to mottled red. This is preposterous. Sarah, whatever game you're playing. Is no game, James's voice came from the doorway. He'd arrived just in time to witness the aftermath of his mother's latest power play. Hello, Mother. I see you're redecorating again, without permission, in my wife's house. Your wife's? Diana sputtered. James, surely you didn't. Sign over the family estate to Sarah's company? Actually, I did. 3 months ago, right after I heard about the last time you forced Emma to sleep in the servants' quarters during Cassandra's summer stay. The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. Margaret staggered back, gripping a bedpost for support. But the Hamilton legacy will continue, I assured her. Through the daughter you spent years trying to diminish, Emma's research grant, the one you mockingly called her Little Star Project. It's being funded by NASA. They're quite interested in her theories about deep space observation. Cassandra's face crumpled into an ugly scowl. But what about my audition? My performance? We'll have to rely on actual talent rather than donated theater wings, James said firmly. It's time this family remembered what real achievement looks like. The workers had begun bringing in sophisticated astronomical equipment, transforming Emma's room into the research space she dreamed of. Margaret watched in horror as her carefully curated guest room setup was dismantled. The basement suite is available, I offered sweetly, though you might want to bring extra blankets. The heating is rather temperamental. You can't do this, Diana protested. We have rights. Actually, James produced another document. As of now, you're all technically guests in our home. Guests who can be asked to leave at any time. Emma, who had remained quiet throughout the confrontation, finally spoke up. Grandma, do you want to know what hurts the most? I would have happily shared my room with Cassandra. If you just asked, if you'd seen me as family instead of someone to push aside. Margaret's face crumpled as the full weight of her actions, and their consequences, hit her. The movers will help you relocate your things to the basement, I said. Unless you prefer to find alternative accommodation. After all, we wouldn't want to embarrass the family by having you sleep in, what did you call it? Inappropriate conditions. The next few hours transformed not just Emma's room, but the entire power dynamic of our family. As workers installed state-of-the-art telescopes and monitoring equipment, Margaret, Diana, and Cassandra huddled in the basement, experiencing firsthand the accommodations they'd once deemed good enough for my daughter. Mom, Emma whispered, watching her cousin sullenly drag her designer luggage down the basement stairs. Will they hate us now? I wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Sweetheart, their feelings about us were never based on love to begin with. But maybe now they'll learn something about respect. James joined us, his expression torn between satisfaction and regret. I should have stopped this years ago. Every time Mother belittled you both, every time she treated Emma like a second-class citizen in her own home. The timing had to be right, I said, squeezing his hand. Sometimes the best lessons come when people are forced to live with the consequences of their own cruelty. From below came the sound of Cassandra's outraged shriek. Apparently she'd just discovered the basement's spotty Wi-Fi coverage. This is inhumane. Diana's voice carried up the stairs. Cassandra needs proper conditions for her audition preparation. Funny, I called down. It was perfectly humane when it was Emma sleeping there during her national science competition. Margaret appeared at the foot of the stairs, her perfect hair now slightly disheveled. Sarah, please, surely we can discuss this reasonably. As family. Family? Emma stepped forward, her voice steady. Was it family when you made me hide my science trophies because they embarrassed Cassandra? When you told everyone at Preston that I was only there because of a clerical error? For the first time, I saw genuine shame cross Margaret's face. The basement suite is available for 2 more days, I announced. After that, I suggest you make other arrangements. The construction team needs the space for Emma's research equipment. Research equipment? Cassandra emerged, mascara smeared. But what about my performance space? The local community theater has an excellent youth program. I smiled. They even offer scholarships, though you might have to earn one on merit rather than money. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. James cleared his throat. Mother Diana, I've arranged rooms at the Hamilton Hotel, unless you prefer to stay here and experience exactly what you've been putting my daughter through. Margaret straightened her spine, trying to salvage some dignity. This isn't over, Sarah. The Hamilton name belongs to all of us, I cut in, including the brilliant young scientist you've spent years trying to diminish. Emma's research could change our understanding of deep space. What's Cassandra's contribution beyond spending her father's money? Diana gasped but couldn't formulate a response. As they gathered their belongings, Emma turned to her cousin. You know, Cassandra, I would have helped you with your audition. I've studied acoustics as part of my physics research, but you never even asked. Cassandra's face flickered with something, regret, perhaps, or the first inkling that she'd lost something more valuable than a comfortable room. Standing in Emma's newly transformed space, watching her run her hands lovingly over the professional-grade equipment, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. No longer would my daughter dim her light to make others comfortable. The observatory construction starts tomorrow, James announced. Mother, I trust you'll inform the country club that their newest board member won't be requiring that membership after all. Margaret's face crumpled as another piece of her social standing slipped away. Sometimes the best revenge isn't in causing pain, but in forcing people to see themselves clearly in the mirror of their own actions. As the sun set over our newly reclaimed home, Emma's telescope captured its first images of the night sky. Below, we could hear the muffled complaints about basement accommodations. Mom, Emma smiled, adjusting her equipment. I think I can see Jupiter tonight. Want to look? I hugged her close, watching her grandmother and aunt struggle with their luggage on the service stairs, the same stairs they forced Emma to use for years. Of course, sweetheart. After all, the stars shine just as brightly whether you're viewing them from the penthouse or the basement. Some people just take longer to learn that lesson.